Greetings. God asks you to forgive your enemies. Yet, he can't forgive his own enemy. What am I really getting at? When you read the Bible, you will see whereby you're told to forgive those who offend you and to forgive your enemy. Yet, when you read about the main character of the Bible, you see where it tells you that he has an enemy, and that enemy was his right-hand man, that his enemy was in heaven and he was kicked out. And then it goes on to tell you how he had created a place for his enemy, to have his enemy to be punished eternally. That's where the theory of eternal hell comes from, and eternal damnation and all the other things that the religious and superstitious people believe who call themselves Christians. But when you really dig deeply and you see how bloody the origin of this whole Roman Catholic religion, where it really comes from, because all of these different denominations is just a spill off, okay, from the Roman Catholic system, okay. When you look at their origin, it has always been bloody. They couldn't forgive the people who they call heretics. They burn them to the stake. They do them every manner of evil. Yet they turn around and make you believe that they were doing God's work. So they were appeasing their God by doing these cruel things to others. My brother, my sisters, my main point that I'm trying to get across to you is that as a melanated person or as a black man, they use Christianity or religion to make you soft, for you to forgive all the ills that was done to you and still continuing happening to you. And so most of these men who get themselves trapped in church going and believe in Jesus, they're so effeminate, and they have no balls, they have no backbone. And what make me, at times really, feel sorry for the people who look like me is when I see on the internet shows like Pop the Balloon and these brainwash, deceived black women seeking for man of God as a man who goes to church regularly and who listens to a so-called pastor, a man from the seminary, a man who went to Bible school and become a Bible fool, and who is leading the blind because he himself is blind and is leading them over a ditch. So my brother, my sister, I'm saying all of this to say to you that you must have to understand the Bible on a psychological level. You must understand it on a metaphysical and an esoteric level. As a matter of fact, you must understand that you are physical, you are psychological, and you're spiritual. Therefore, you must understand the Bible on all three levels. That is why the slave master makes sure he interprets it to you on one level. So you will forgive him, and you will forgive the things that they would have done and the systematic slavery that they have presently. And so, if I was to look at 2020 to 2022, you see the weakness of Christianity. You see that they were willing to bow to Dr. Fauci and the many others who came up with this, Bill Gates too, with this big pandemic. And the people had to bow because they are the borrowers, they are not the lenders. They are the tail, they are not the head. They are beneath, they are not above. And so all the Christians in my country, they had to take the inoculation because they had loans and they had mortgages. And because the way how the religious system is set up with the school system in these colonies, and the people's minds have been colonized, and they have colonial mentality, along with religious and superstitious mentality, they continue to seek a savior on the outside. They continue to seek a master on the outside. And in the time of COVID, they were actually praying and calling on Jesus. And they still believe that there's an entity on the outside that is their enemy. But when you understand mind science, you know that your enemy is actually your lower self, your negative self, that self of you that dwells in doubt and guilt and shame and condemnation. But there are those who influence such mindset through their systems that they set up to influence you. So you must understand that. And they make sure they do it at a very young age, where they can program your subconscious mind. Okay? And so, my brothers and my sisters, do not believe in any God who wants to tell you to forgive your enemy when he can't forgive his own enemy. So you have to understand the Bible, you know what I mean, strategically. You have to understand it, you know, from the standpoint of it is a book of mind science. So it can be used to wake you up, or it can be used to keep you a fool. Okay? So the wise use of the Bible will show you that your Savior, your Lord, and your Master must all be in your image and your likeness. Must look like you. So when you look in the mirror, you must see God in flesh and no other God. So this outside sky God that they're giving you, it is the European philosophy that they want to shape your psyche with. They want you to think that way. Okay? And they make you misconstrue what love is really all about, because true love is definitely corrective. And that is why you must correct those who wants to keep you in mental slavery. You must expose them. It is not a coincidence that in my country, most of the people who own the big businesses, they are light-skinned people. Because certain things were passed down to them from lip to ears. Because when the Europeans came here and they rape and maim and kill and do all of these things, they leave their children here. They didn't carry them back to Europe. And they passed down certain knowledge about the Bible to them and about black people. They know how powerful we are when we have true self-knowledge. They know when we know that the enemy starts from within and is reflected without. But they make sure, okay, that they set up certain system. So if you do not understand how this system works, these same people come back and tell you that your enemy is your lower self. They will tell you that. They will tell you your negative self is your enemy. They will tell you all of that, so that you cannot see them as the one who wants to keep you in your negative self or in your lower self. This thing is very strategic, you know. So when melanated people call on Jesus And they already paint a picture of a European man telling some man from Israel. And they try to make you believe that these people are special people and they are the people of God. Yet, they doesn't look like the soil. You just look at the soil and see if these people look like the soil, like how the soil looks. See if these people reflect nature. Look at the life these people produce. Look at the fruit they produce. And you see the lie. That is why they want you to believe in a God that is saying to forgive your enemies. So you can forgive them for what? For all the atrocities that have been done through slavery. And the atrocities are still happening here systematically. Okay? So they want to make you soft. They want you to forget. But when you're being awakened and when you come to the knowledge of the truth, you will always remember. Okay? You don't have to go around holding things against anyone. Okay? But you always remember. As a matter of fact, let me say this, I come to a close. They give you something that is called a passport, and anywhere you go, it have your description. So people who want to say that consciousness have no complexion, when they want to say spirit have no complexion, I want to know when spirit take on a body, what complexion is that body, and why the spirit and certain spirit, you understand, occupy certain body, and the fruit is being shown outwardly through the actions. Actions speak louder than words. So, my brother, my sisters, and as I come to a close, let me say this here too. Okay, there's a bunch of white people attacking a black brother named Billy Carson. Okay, I've never been a fan of Billy Carson and his theory. Because you see, you can't try to wake up people with intellectual knowledge, just a bunch of books, quoting a bunch of books. And the same people write the books for you. They will give you a 15 minutes fame. They can make sure you become very, very popular. Okay? And the internet. And then they'll turn around and they'll stab you right in the back. That's what's happening to him. I always, when I watch he and I see he couldn't find a black woman like his mother and like his sisters, I know something wrong with him, man. Okay? And not to try to bring a brother down or to say anything negative, but I have to speak the truth. You see, whenever I see a black brother, I watch any wife, I watch any woman who he planting his seed in. And let me tell you something. This guy that debate in the west of these guys will not debate me. You understand? Because all the people that listen to people like Candace Owens and so on, all you just need to do, is go and read Numbers 25. I have to do a video on that. I have to do a video on that. So when you hear me speak against interracial union and all of these things, I am the man from a certain priesthood with a javelin to choke through right through the stomach, kill the seed one time. Okay, so you have to understand, as I said before, the whole Bible, on R3 levels, and all the so-called Christians attacking, Billy Carson now and so on. They believe they have some power, they have some strength. But in the time of COVID, man, all the men and women who say they're men and women of God, they were freaking silent. All the prophet and prophetess, they were silent. I remember I went in, let me say this, man, because I was coming to a close, but let me say this. In the time of COVID, I went into a church and pulled down all the posters they had there talking about wash hand before this and that. I said, God never tell you to do that. Pastor tell me he was going to call the police. Okay, I said, well, okay, don't call the police because I have a printer at home and I have ink in it right now. I will print them same poster back for you and I'll bring it back in the morning. It was just recently, I think let me see, about maybe a month ago, less than a month, but 3 weeks ago, I confronted him. And say, see what I was telling you about this whole plan and everything. You know what he tried to tell me? He tried to tell me he always know that it was fake and it wasn't real. If you know it was fake and it wasn't real, why you would post up those things inside your church? And why you was allowing the political powers to tell you how much people to come in congregate in your building? If you call that the house of God, and if you believe God appoint you and call you, bro, listen to me. People, if you listen to me right now, I'm telling you, in time of COVID, if I was running a church, that would lock up me and your congregation. And those who didn't join with me, you couldn't be part of me after COVID. You need radical men out there. You need men with backbone and men with balls. I don't play. I'm not out here to trick and brainwash black people. There are plenty of people doing that. I see a man talking about how doubt is created in the eyes and how faith created in the ears, and so on, charging the people a bunch of money and all these kind of things, and start the LMM business too, you know. You understand what I'm saying? Pimping the people in the name of Jesus and religion, and that's why I don't want no Christian following, you know, with what I normally teach, you know. If I wanted a Christian following or a Christian audience, all I would have to do now is continue to speak and say Jesus and say Lord and say God, and just basically, you know, compromise even if I know better. Okay, and I would get them to follow me, because I could have said, once I use those terms, is how they interpret it. You understand? But I interpret it deep in my subconscious mind, or deep in my spirit. I interpret it in a different way. I could have do that. Okay. Since I come to this knowledge of truth, I realize how gullible church people is. I realize how soft church women are and how easy they are to be brainwashed or deceived. One time I wanted was to go to a church and just prove what I was saying, but then my spirit didn't allow me to do it. And when I went there, the very morning, I was walking in an area, and one of the sisters, you know, meet me and greeted me big time. Because they're African, they came over here, they're medical students. And everywhere they go, they put in a church. They're from Africa. And the women more than men. And what drive me is when I heard a young man, I was in an area, and one of the young lady passed to go to church, and he tried to say hello to her, and she didn't, you know, respond, and he tried to say they're being antisocial. And I said, no. I said, because you do not understand church people, all you have to do is go among them. You understand? And be friendly with them. And I went by the church door, and they don't reach out. A man by the front door of the church, a bunch of women inside there, they don't look back, one don't reach out, come and talk to me. But then I just decided, nah, I ain't gonna misuse my power like that. I'm telling you, bro, if you listen to me, when you wake up, you know, and you realize what this whole church thing is all about, and this whole Christianity thing is all about, I tell you realize women in church, you could even watch me. I'm not encouraging people to do these things, you know. But because the people are so brainwashed with marriage and thing, and the fake marriage, right, that the system give them and so on, you go and you make your intention known in a church, you know. You could take the hottest woman in church, especially she love married. And I'm telling you, there are men who will go to that extent, you know, because they know it null and it void. Because when you really understand Ephesians chapter 5 and talk about marriage is a great mystery and thing, you laugh after the one that the system gave you. Man could do that. Yeah, man who could do that. When I come to the street, I realize I could go to some church and run through half a woman in them who doesn't have no man, and they well want a man. Because I used to go to church, and I know young men in them in the church, they used to masturbate and all kind of thing. I know all of these kind of things. And I know the woman in church is just as materialistic as any other woman, because all women want the same man. All women want a successful man. All women want to articulate man. A woman gonna only take a broke man if he see potential. Don't let nobody fool you. Why you think some of them white women just grab some black man who does see potential and then afterwards just reap the benefit? Man, I could go on and on and on and on and on. But I'm coming to close here because I have a lot of things to do today, and I'm just taking some time out of my busy schedule to reach out to you. Okay? But don't make nobody push rub no shit in your mouth to tell you that you must serve and believe in a God who wants you to forgive your enemy, but up to now he can't forgive his own enemy, and tell you that how he have a place for born his enemy. You really believe in eternal hell? You believe in them things? There's a lot of things in the Bible that I would like to definitely explain to you and show you it on a metaphysical and esoteric level, show you it on a psychological level so you have a better understanding. Don't make them use fear to control you. Let me tell you something as I come to a close. Most white people wouldn't have a problem going to the same church with you and say they call the same God with you as long as you don't bring up the subject of slavery, and you don't bring up the subject of your true ancestry and so on, and show them you in the Bible and so on. As long as you don't do those kind of things, you wouldn't offend them. And as long as you walking with them, and basically they are the employer and you're the employee, man, they'll be sweet and nice with you. I could go on and on and on and on and on. You understand? And you know what give me liberty to speak these things is because I know I have nothing against no one. I just standing up for what is right. I just standing up for what is true, and I just telling it as it is. It doesn't matter what. That's why I always say I can't be bought or sold. I cannot be bought or sold, because I'm not gonna compromise to please nobody. This is how I've always been. I ain't gonna compromise to please nobody. That is why I'm so glad when I started YouTube, I didn't know what the hell YouTube was about. Now everybody trying to do YouTube, looking for a penny, looking for a dime. I had to make a video on those who always talking about how much YouTube pay me to have to do a video on that. So my people, you listen to me. Okay, if there's anything you'd like me to speak on, if you'd like me to elaborate on certain things, you know, feel free to comment down below. Also, if this is your first time listening to me and you haven't subscribed already, I'm definitely encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this video. And I have a lot of things that I would like to share with you. The links are down below, like my books and my Patreon. If you want to donate $20 or more, you have access to a course that is called the Inner Sound Science and Technology to create your reality conscious. And along with that is a bonus course on self-concept. So whatsoever you desire, all of the links are down below. So check them out and let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do. So with that being said, I just want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.